The sky was clear and blue over Earth, the kind of day people usually didn't pay much attention to what was beyond their homes. But on this day, far above the clouds, something different was happening. Somewhere deep in space, something huge was moving closer to Earth. Scientists at the Global Space Agency first noticed it. Their large telescopes and sensors picked up a giant fleet of ships far beyond the orbit of Pluto. The ships were not like anything seen before. They were massive, shaped like dark, sharp triangles, stretching across the darkness of space like a black storm. The fleet was moving fast, faster than any human spacecraft. The news spread quickly from one space center to another. People began to worry. "Who are they?" asked Dr. Sarah Kahn, one of the top scientists at the agency. She studied the signals coming from the fleet carefully. Why are they coming here? Governments around the world started emergency meetings. The United Nations called a special session. Everyone was tense. No one knew what the fleet wanted. The only thing clear was that the ships were heading straight for Earth. Military commanders prepared for the worst. Fighter jets were put on alert, missile systems were activated, and satellites were tasked with watching the sky every second. The world was readying itself for a possible war like never before. The alien species was soon identified by the intelligence agencies. They were called the Krith. Stories from deep space explorers told of the Krith as fierce warriors who conquered many planets in different galaxies. They had advanced weapons and technology far beyond human understanding. To meet them was said to be dangerous, almost a death sentence. People on Earth were scared, but they also felt a strange kind of hope. The idea that humans might stand against such a powerful enemy stirred pride. "We are Earth," they thought. "We will fight." As the fleet came closer, communication attempts were made. Scientists sent messages in many languages, including images of Earth's nature, music, and peaceful greetings. But there was no reply. The Krith remained silent. The world's media was full of pictures of the fleet. Children watched the news with wide eyes, wondering if they would see the alien ships in the sky. Cities had emergency drills, teaching people how to stay safe if the Krith attacked. Then something unexpected happened. The huge fleet suddenly changed course. Instead of going straight to Earth, the Krith ships turned toward Mars, the red planet. Confusion spread quickly. Why would they leave Earth alone and go to Mars? Mars was mostly empty, a dry desert with no life, at least none humans had found. The Krith had no reason to stop there, or so it seemed. Military leaders and scientists worked overnight to understand this strange move. Radar and satellites followed the fleet as it raced toward Mars. It looked like the Krith planned to conquer the planet first before coming to Earth. But then, even more strange events happened. Before reaching Mars, the entire Krith fleet vanished. All at once, without warning, they disappeared from every sensor and telescope. No one could find them anywhere. It was as if they had melted into thin air, panic mixed with disbelief. "Where did they go?" people asked. "Did something happen to them?" The news made headlines all over the world. The fleet that everyone thought would attack Earth had simply vanished. Some thought it was a trick. Maybe the Krith had hidden using some kind of advanced technology. Others believed something worse might have happened, that an unknown danger destroyed the fleet. Dr. Sarah Kahn watched the screens with a heavy heart. "This is no normal event," she said quietly. "We must find out what happened before it is too late." As days passed, Earth returned to a strange kind of calm. The usual sounds of life, children playing, cars on the streets, birds in the trees, continued. But in every home, in every city, people looked up at the night sky differently. The stars no longer seemed so distant and safe. Military satellites kept searching, but there was no sign of the Krith. Earth's leaders warned the people to stay alert. "We don't know what we face," they said. "We must be ready." Meanwhile, scientists began preparing missions to Mars. If the Krith fleet had stopped there, maybe the answer to their disappearance was hidden on the red planet's surface. Dr. Kahn joined a team of experts from around the world. Their mission was clear: to go to Mars, to find the truth, and to protect Earth from whatever was waiting. At the same time, Ordinary people continued with their lives, not knowing that the peaceful days were only temporary. In the quiet of the night beneath the bright stars, a silent question hung in the air. Why did the Krith vanish before reaching Mars? What secret was hidden on that cold, dusty world? Earth was about to find out, and the answer would change everything. After the sudden disappearance of the Krith fleet near Mars, the whole world was filled with questions and fear. Scientists worked day and night, trying to find any clue about what had happened. Governments kept their military forces on high, alert, but no one knew what to expect next. Dr. Sarah Khan sat in the control room of the Global Space Agency. The large screen showed empty space where the Krith ships had once been. The silence from the alien fleet was more frightening than any noise. They are gone, but why? She whispered to herself. She was not alone in her worry. People all over Earth watched the skies, hoping to see some sign of the aliens, or at least some explanation. But there was nothing. The first days were filled with hope. Some scientists believed the Krith might have changed their minds. Maybe they decided Earth was not worth fighting for. Maybe they went home. But this hope quickly faded. New signals from deep space hinted at something terrible. Strange energy readings came from near Mars, the place where the Krith fleet disappeared. The signals were unlike anything Earth had ever detected before. They were chaotic, powerful, and alive in a way no machine or star could be. Dr. Khan and her team studied the signals carefully. This energy is dangerous, she said. It could be the reason the Krith left or why they vanished. Governments sent unmanned probes to Mars, hoping to find answers. The probes landed on the planet's dry surface, sending back images of rocky deserts and wide, empty plains. But soon the probes picked up unusual activity below the surface, energy readings that grew stronger as they moved closer. On Earth, people waited anxiously. News channels filled their programs with stories about Mars. Scientists gave interviews explaining the strange signals and what they might mean. Some voices were calm and careful, while others warned of a coming disaster. "We don't know what is on Mars," said Dr. Khan in one interview. "But it is clear we are not alone in the solar system. Something is there, something powerful." The Krith fleet's disappearance became a mystery that captured the world's imagination. Writers, artists, and thinkers all tried to understand what had happened. But the truth was still hidden beneath the red dust of Mars. Then, a breakthrough came. One of the probes sent back images of a strange structure buried deep in the Martian soil. It was not natural. The shape was geometric and symmetrical, clear signs of an intelligent builder. The news spread like wildfire. The building was huge, bigger than any human city, and unlike anything the Krith were known to build. It looked ancient and covered in strange symbols. Scientists were amazed. "This could be the remains of an older civilization," Dr. Khan said, "one that may have lived here long before humans ever dreamed of space travel." Plans were made, quickly. A special expedition team would be sent to Mars to explore the structure and find out what secrets it held. This was humanity's first real chance to discover something new beyond Earth, a chance to prove that humans were more than just small creatures on a blue planet. As the world prepared, Dr. Khan joined the team. She felt the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. "We may find answers," she thought, "or we may find dangers." The team included experts from many countries: geologists, engineers, biologists, and even linguists. They trained together, studied the probe's data, and planned every detail. Meanwhile, the Krith remained a silent mystery. No messages, no attacks, no contact. Many wondered if they were hiding, or if something worse had happened to them. The day of the launch, people gathered in front of screens worldwide. The new Mars mission was a symbol of hope, courage, and the unbreakable human spirit. The rocket lifted off with a powerful roar, carrying the best minds of Earth to the red planet. Dr. Khan looked out the window as Earth grew smaller behind them. "We are not alone," she whispered, "and we will find the truth." Days later, the team landed on Mars. The air was thin and cold, but their spirits were high. They set up their base near the strange structure and prepared to explore. Inside the building, they found more wonders: walls covered with glowing symbols, rooms filled with strange machines that hummed softly, and signs of a lost history. Dr. Khan ran her hand over the smooth walls. Who built this place? She wondered. And why did they leave? The team worked carefully, scanning everything and collecting data. They discovered messages hidden in the symbols, warnings from a long-gone civilization about a cosmic threat. This threat was described as a dark force, a shadow that consumed entire fleets and planets. The Krith, it seemed, had encountered this force near Mars and fled in fear. The idea shocked the team. If the Krith with all their power could be scared away, what chance did humanity have? But Dr. Khan saw something else in the message: a hope. The ancient builders had left technology and knowledge, tools to fight back. Back on Earth, the news of the discovery changed everything. People felt fear, yes, but also a new kind of pride. They were no longer alone. They were part of a bigger story, one of survival, courage, and hope. Leaders called for unity. Scientists, engineers, and soldiers worked together like never before. Humanity was preparing for a future that no one could predict. As the Mars team continued to explore, strange things happened. Lights flickered in the ancient building. Shadows moved in the corners of their vision. The energy readings grew stronger. Something was waking up, and whatever it was waiting. The red dust swirled around the wheels of the rover as it rolled slowly across the rocky surface of Mars. The sun was low in the pink sky, casting long shadows over the barren landscape. The small group of explorers moved carefully, their breaths heavy inside their helmets. They were the first humans to set foot near the mysterious alien structure buried deep under the Martian soil. Dr. Sarah Khan led the team. Her heart raced with excitement and fear. This was a moment humanity had waited for, a chance to uncover secrets that could change everything. The team's base camp was set up a short distance from the strange building. They called it the Citadel because of its tall, geometric walls rising out of the ground. The structure looked like it had been made of metal, but it was old. So old that dust and sand covered much of its surface. Inside the base, computers and machines hummed quietly. The team worked in shifts, studying data and planning their next steps. "We have to be careful," Sarah told the others. "This place is not like anything we know. We don't understand the technology yet. It could be dangerous." The first mission was to enter the Citadel. The entrance was a large door covered with symbols that glowed faintly. It took hours for the engineers to unlock the mechanism. When the door finally opened, a cold wind blew out, and the explorers shone their lights inside. The interior was huge and dark. The walls were smooth with strange writings that glowed softly. The air smelled of metal and something old. As the team moved inside, their scanners picked up unusual energy readings. Machines in the walls started to hum quietly, as if waking up after a long sleep. In the center of the room, they found a pedestal with a glowing orb floating above it. The orb pulsed with light and sent out waves of warmth. Sarah reached out carefully and touched the orb. The room filled with images, holograms of stars, planets, and spaceships. A voice spoke, soft but clear in a language none of them knew. "We are the keepers," the voice said. "We watched over this system long ago. A shadow came from the dark between stars, a force that consumes light, life, and hope." The team watched in silence, trying to understand the meaning. The voice continued. "The Krith fled before the shadow. They could not stop it. You must prepare." Sarah felt a chill. The message was a warning, but it was also a call to action. Humanity was not just exploring Mars. They were being asked to face a terrible enemy. Back on Earth, the news of the Citadel's discovery and the message spread quickly. People were both afraid and hopeful. Scientists worked day and night to translate the symbols and learn from the Kyo, ancient technology. At the same time, the military began planning new defenses. If the shadow was real, Earth had to be ready. On Mars, the team continued to explore. They found rooms filled with advanced machines, devices that seemed to control energy and matter. Some machines projected stars and galaxies, as if showing maps of the universe. One machine, a large sphere in a dark room, contained what looked like a small star inside. Scientists called it the core. It pulsed with energy and seemed to power the entire citadel. But the citadel was not empty. Strange movements appeared on the sensors, shadows that disappeared when looked at directly, soft whispers in the quiet halls. One night, the team's youngest member, a geologist named Leo, reported strange dreams. "I see flashes of other worlds," he said, "and a dark shape that moves behind everything." Sarah tried to calm him. "It's the place, Leo. This place affects our minds. We must stay strong." But as days passed, more team members felt uneasy. Some reported hearing voices or seeing figures in the corners of their vision. The ancient technology seemed alive, and maybe it was warning them. One afternoon, while exploring a lower level, the team found a hidden chamber. Inside were walls, covered with images, paintings of battles between light and darkness, stars being swallowed by black voids and ships fighting strange monsters. The paintings told a story. The Krith had not only fled the shadow but had been attacked and scattered. Many ships were destroyed near Mars. The shadow was real and it was coming back. Sarah knew they had to tell Earth everything. The survival of humanity depended on understanding this enemy. Back at the base, the team sent a long message to Earth. It included the ancient warnings, the images from the chamber, and a request for help. "We are not alone," Sarah said. "And we face a threat bigger than any of us imagined." The message sparked a wave of activity on Earth. Nations agreed to share technology and resources. Scientists studied the Citadel's machines, hoping to unlock weapons or defenses. Military leaders prepared fleets and troops, training for a war they could barely imagine. But as humanity rallied, the team on Mars felt the presence of the shadow, growing stronger. One night, the ground trembled lightly and strange lights appeared in the sky. The sensors picked up bursts of energy from beneath the surface. The team gathered in the control room, watching the data with wide eyes. "It's waking up," Sarah said quietly. "We have disturbed something old and powerful." The explorers knew their mission had changed. They were no longer just scientists. They were guardians. The fate of Earth and Mars might depend on what they discovered next. And somewhere in the dark reaches of space, the shadow waited, ready to return. The soft hum of machines filled the dark halls of the Citadel. The explorers moved cautiously through the maze of glowing walls and strange symbols. Each step took them deeper into the mystery left by a civilization long gone. Dr. Sarah Khan led the group, her eyes scanning every detail. The ancient message had been clear: a terrible shadow, a cosmic force, threatened not only Mars but the entire solar system. And the Krith, the feared warriors of the stars, had vanished because of it. The team's latest discovery was a chamber larger than any they had seen before. Its walls were covered with intricate carvings and glowing glyphs. In the center stood a tall pedestal with a crystal pulsing faintly, casting eerie light across the room. The air felt heavy, as if the chamber itself was alive with ancient power. Sarah carefully approached the pedestal and touched the crystal. Suddenly, the room filled with light and a new holographic message appeared. This time, the voice was stronger, clearer. "We are the keepers of the balance," it said. "Long ago, we protected the system from the void." The explorers listened, spellbound. "The void is a force beyond understanding," the voice continued. "It consumes stars, worlds, and fleets. It grows in darkness and hunger." The message showed images of planets being swallowed by blackness, stars flickering out like dying candles. The Krith came to conquer, but they could not stand against the void. They fled before it reached Mars, hoping to escape. Sarah felt a cold shiver. The Krith's power was legendary, yet even they were afraid. The hologram then revealed a map of the solar system, marked with symbols indicating safe zones and danger zones. Mars was marked as the last stronghold before the void's advance. But hope remains, the voice said softly. Within the citadel lies the key, a power to fight the darkness. The team exchanged glances. The key was their only chance. While some members began scanning the chamber for the key, Sarah focused on the warnings. The message was a call for help, passed down through time. They were not just explorers anymore. They were the next keepers. As the team searched, they found hidden compartments containing ancient tools and devices. These machines hummed with energy, ready to be used. One device caught Sarah's attention, a small orb glowing with bright light. It pulsed steadily, as if alive. This must be part of the key, she said. We need to understand how it works. Meanwhile, back on Earth, excitement and fear mixed in equal parts. The discovery of the Citadel and its warnings made people realize the danger was real, and closer than anyone had imagined. Scientists raced to analyze the data sent by the Mars team. They studied the strange energy signatures and the technology recovered. Military leaders used the new knowledge to prepare defenses. Fleets were built with faster ships and stronger weapons, but everyone knew it might not be enough. Despite all the efforts, uncertainty filled the air. The void was not like any enemy Earth had faced before. On Mars, the atmosphere around the Citadel changed. The strange energy readings grew stronger. Sometimes the walls seemed to pulse with light and shadows moved in ways that did not follow the laws of physics. At night, the explorers saw flashes of light far underground and heard whispers that no one could explain. Leo, the young geologist, was troubled. "This place is alive," he said. "It's like it's trying to tell us something." Sarah nodded. "We have to listen. The keepers left these warnings for a reason." Days passed, and the team finally managed to activate one of the ancient machines. The device projected a star map, showing not only the solar system but also distant galaxies beyond. The map highlighted the path of the void, a creeping darkness moving through space, consuming everything in its path. The keepers had fought it before, but the battle was never over. Suddenly, the machine showed a bright pulse from the edge of the solar system, an approaching wave of darkness heading straight toward Mars and Earth. Panic rose among the explorers. "We don't have much time," Sarah said firmly. "We must prepare and warn Earth." The team worked around the clock, sending data and plans back to Earth. They shared what they learned about the ancient technology, hoping it could be adapted to defend their home. But the void was more than just a force, it was a presence. It felt like a living shadow watching them, waiting. One night, as the explorers rested, the ground shook. The lights flickered and alarms sounded in the base camp. Sarah and the team rushed outside to see the sky glowing with strange colors. A ripple of dark energy pulsed across the horizon. The void was coming. The ancient warning had become a reality. Humanity's greatest challenge was no longer a story of distant stars. It was here, at their doorstep. Sarah looked up at the darkening sky and whispered, "We will not let the light go out." The news from Mars reached Earth like a thunderstorm breaking over a quiet city. The discovery of the Citadel and the warning about the void shook every nation to its core. For the first time in history, the world faced a threat that no single country could handle alone. Leaders gathered in a special summit, held not in a grand hall, but in a digital space where voices and faces appeared from every corner of the globe. For the first time, the usual conflicts and rivalries were set aside. The enemy was clear, a cosmic darkness that could swallow whole worlds. Dr. Sarah Khan stood before the world's top scientists and military leaders through a video link from Mars. Her eyes were tired but filled with determination. "We are facing a force unlike anything humanity has seen," she said, "but we are not powerless. The keepers left us tools and knowledge. It is now up to us to use them and defend our home." Around the world, scientists studied the data sent from Mars. The ancient technology was difficult to understand, but it held promise. Machines that could harness energy from stars, weapons that could disrupt the void's power, and shields that might protect entire planets. Teams worked day and night, sharing ideas across continents. Engineers designed new spaceships equipped with the latest energy weapons inspired by the Citadel's technology. Factories that once built cars and planes now produced parts for spacecraft and advanced defense systems. The military trained with new weapons and tactics, preparing for a war that could reach beyond Earth. But it wasn't just soldiers and scientists who prepared. Ordinary people around the world joined in their own ways. Volunteers helped spread information, taught others about safety, and supported the efforts from home. Children learned about space and the importance of unity. Artists created hopeful images of light fighting darkness. The world was coming together like never before. Back on Mars, the team continued their work inside the Citadel. They discovered ways to control the ancient machines and began building a device that could amplify energy, the key that the Keepers had spoken of. Sarah and her team knew that time was running out. The void was moving closer. One evening as they worked, the ground trembled again. This time it was stronger, shaking the entire base camp. Outside, the sky was filled with strange lights, dark clouds pulsing with energy. "We must finish the key," Sarah said. "It is our best hope." The engineers accelerated their efforts, combining human technology with the ancient machines. Slowly, the device began to take shape. Meanwhile, Earth's defenses grew stronger. Fleets of ships, faster and more powerful than ever before, were launched into space. Satellites were equipped with new shields, and space stations became bases for quick response. In cities, people watched the sky with hope and fear. News reports showed astronauts training and scientists working on the Citadel's technology. The story of humanity's fight against the void became a part of daily life. Sarah often thought about the Krith. The great conquerors had fled from the void. But now humanity had a choice. They could run, or they could stand and fight. The key was almost ready. Its core glowed with a bright light, powered by energy from Mars's sun and the ancient machines. The team held their breath as Sarah activated it for the first time. The device hummed to life, sending out a wave of light that spread through the Citadel and beyond. Sensors detected the energy pushing back the darkness around Mars. "It works," Sarah said, a smile breaking across her face. "We have hope." Back on Earth, people cheered. The news spread quickly. Humanity had a weapon against the void, but the victory was only the beginning. The void was vast and relentless. It would not stop until it consumed all light. Sarah and her team prepared to send the key's design back to Earth so more could be built. The fight was coming to their home, the world united, building fleets and defenses, ready for the final battle. In the quiet moments, Sarah looked up at the stars and whispered, "We are ready." Humanity was no longer alone or afraid. They had faced the darkness and found their own light. The stars beyond Mars twinkled quietly, but something dark moved between them. A slow, creeping shadow that seemed to swallow light itself. Humanity's greatest challenge was no longer just a warning from ancient aliens. It was real, and it was coming closer. Dr. Sarah Khan stood on the observation deck of the Mars base, looking out at the blackness beyond. The key, the device her team had built from the ancient technology, glowed softly beside her. It was humanity's hope, the weapon to fight the void. The message from Earth came through loud and clear. The fleets were ready. Earth had built ships faster and stronger than ever, equipped with the new energy weapons inspired by the Citadel's technology. And the Krith, once feared enemies, had sent a signal of their own. They were scattered and broken, but they wanted to join the fight. The ancient conquerors recognized the void as a threat greater than any race. For the first time, humanity was not alone. Sarah felt a mixture of fear and hope. The battle ahead would be unlike any other. It would test the strength, courage, and spirit of all living beings. The fleet gathered near Mars, ships from Earth and the Krith side by side. The commanders prepared their crews for the coming fight. Sarah stood with the leaders watching as ships powered up and weapons hummed to life. "We fight not just for survival," she said, "but for the future of all life. The void wants to erase us, but we will not go quietly." The first encounter came quickly. Dark shapes appeared at the edge of the fleet, moving like shadows with no clear form. The void was not a normal enemy. It was a force of destruction, consuming light, and energy pulses shot from the key and the ships, striking the shadows. The darkness recoiled but did not disappear. The battle raged across the blackness of space. Ships dodged attacks, firing beams of light and energy. The void spread like a wave, trying to engulf the fleet. Human pilots pushed their ships to the limit. Krith warriors fought fiercely alongside humans, their weapons blazing. In the heart of the fight, Sarah's voice was steady over the comms. "Keep the key active. Its light is our shield." The key's energy pushed back the void, creating a bubble of light that protected the fleet. But the void was relentless. It changed shape and attacked from new angles. The fleet suffered losses, but it did not break. As the battle continued, Sarah realized something important. The void was not just mindless darkness. It reacted to their fear and weakness. But when the fleet fought with hope and courage, its power weakened. That was humanity's greatest weapon, their will to survive and protect. The fight stretched on for days. Then, a new wave of energy came from the Citadel on Mars. The ancient machines activated, sending a pulse that strengthened the key. With renewed power, the fleet pushed forward. Slowly, the void began to retreat. Ships cheered across their comms as darkness gave way to light. The battle was not over, but the tide had turned. Sarah looked at the stars and smiled. "We did it," she said softly. On Earth, people celebrated. The world had come together and faced the greatest darkness in history, and survived. The Krith sent a message of respect and alliance, promising to rebuild and stand with humanity. Sarah knew the fight might come again. The void was vast, and the universe held many mysteries, but humanity was ready. They had learned that no matter how dark the shadow, light could always fight back. And as the fleet returned to Mars and Earth, Sarah whispered a promise to the stars. "We will protect this home and we will never stop fighting."